Hey, yo, Peyton, let me ask you a question, man. Are you ready to be busy from Thursday to Monday night?
Yes, to answer you shortly.
Okay, because if you guys don't know already, ladies, count your blessings because your men will be gone all weekend long. Football is back. We get it from Thursday night all the way to Monday night. It's go time, man. Football season is back and we cannot be more excited. How you feeling, Peyton?
Waited all spring and summer.
Oh,
and I sound like a broken record at this point, but I don't really care.
Yeah,
Waited all spring and summer for it. Here we are.
We have no more excuses, man. It's go time. The helmets are screwed up tightly, shoulder pads strapped up tightly. It's time to go, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, with that being said, man, you guys, if you are not already, please make sure you are following the Sportaholics on all social media platforms. That's THEE Sportaholics. I'll have it up here on the screen for you guys as well. Make sure you tap in with us every week, Tuesday and Friday at 7:30 right here on YouTube, and you can catch us on Instagram Live. Peyton, what we drinking on tonight, man?
Another edition of Evan Williams. It's going to be the same as last week with the Evan Williams Honey.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a quick description. The Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey blended with honey liqueur and caramel color. Okay?
Let's go. Pour me up. While he does that, you guys sit back, relax. We got a good show lined up for you today. It's week 1 in NFL, week 2 in college football. Let's do it, man.
Let's do it.
So Peyton, let me ask you right now, what are some of the things you are most excited about with football being fully back in?
To be honest with you, it sounds crazy, but in a lot of ways it is a bit of an escape.
Yeah.
You know, like
I agree.
You get to forget about whatever life is presenting at you in that moment in time in your life, and you get to sit back and watch some of the best athletes in the world compete at the highest level. So
I agree with you 100%. The thing that I enjoy the most about football season being in is I get to be a fan. Now, I am a fan of basketball, but I'm more of a fan of football than I am basketball. I grew up playing basketball, so that's one thing that will always hold near and dear to my heart is just the ability to sit in front of the TV and watch good competitive football. Now, with being a fan, it has its ups and its downs because you have heartache, heartbreak, and everything in between there. So, yeah, man. But with that being said, man, we're gonna talk a little bit about college football today and some NFL. We're gonna give you our brackets. Well, not really the brackets, but some playoff predictions, and I guess we'll pick our Super Bowl winner today.
why not?
All right,
Sounds good to me.
Let's do it. Let's start off with Texas versus Michigan. That is a good game lined up for this week. We got Texas, the Longhorns, going into Michigan at the Big House.
Yes, sir.
What say you, Peyton?
Man, so just to start it off, I think it's going to be tough for each of these teams to run the ball, specifically up the middle. I don't see either one lining up against the other defense and just handing it off in between the tackles.
Yeah.
And typically you get that in top 10 games. So
yeah,
that's what I'm looking for. The other thing is, because of that, which team is going to have more success passing on early downs in this game to set up a sustainable drive?
So this will be a special game, Peyton. Will the Longhorns represent the SEC properly?
I hope so. They better.
Can Michigan remain dominant after the Harbaugh era? Like, it's a lot of questions. Like, I usually don't overhype week 1, but week 2, you better come ready to go. You got to come ready to go, and there's no excuses. And I think this is going to be one of those ones. I think this is going to be a game where everybody that's watching is going to be sitting up tense, and they're going to be trading blows back and forth.
Hey, and I'll say this. In back-to-back years before this year, Texas has given us 2 great week 2 games against Alabama back-to-back years. So I can't expect anything less.
Yeah, why not? Why not follow up the hype with Michigan, you know, and this is a different team. But I before I get to that, Texas, they steamrolled Colorado last week, as they should, and Michigan kind of struggled a bit to beat Fresno. It was a closer game than the score projected. Yeah, so but I think this is a bounce back week for Michigan, and I'm actually looking forward. But I guess the ultimate question is, will the Wolverines get back on track here? What do you think? What do you think they have to do to win the game?
To win the game, I'm going to go back to the point I just made. I think they're going to need to have success on those early downs passing the ball.
Yep.
I will say, as far as my prediction goes, the line has moved up to 7.5. So Texas is currently favored by a touchdown and a half at the moment.
Yep.
If I had to pick against the spread, I would take Michigan to cover, but Texas to win the game.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I was thinking 8.5. I don't know if I saw 8.5 somewhere.
I think it was at 6.5, and then it moved up. I don't believe it's gone to 8.5 yet, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where, but me, I was looking on Hard Rock Bets today, and I know I did see for sure 7.5, but I don't know why. For some strange reason, I thought it moved up to 8.5 or something like that.
What's interesting is the total has plummeted. The total points for this game, it started at 47 or 48. It's all the way down to 42.
Right.
If I had to pick against the total, I would say under. I expect it to be somewhat of a defensive game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you said, the odds makers have made Michigan the dog for this game, and at home, that's not something that can happen. That is not something that can happen for Michigan. So I don't know if the players are watching the odds or whatever the case may be, but they got to find some type of motivation in order to come out and really, stand up at home for this game. And it's a big one. Now, Peyton, you know me. You know I like to see the top 10 shaking up.
Yeah.
And there's no better place for it to happen than in the big house.
And you also like your underdogs.
I love underdog story, and I'm not going to sit here and say that Michigan is an underdog. I'm not even going to bring stats into this game because both teams are exactly who they need to be in order to be successful for this season. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think the key factors in this game, one, it has to be a methodical game for both sides of the ball, and time of possession, I'm going to always say that. If you can control the ball, you put yourself in a great opportunity to win the game. Starting field position. For Michigan, if they can start from the 40 and up, from their 40 and up, they give themselves a tremendous chance. I can see why Texas is the favorite in this game. And I actually like Texas, but I'm rolling with Michigan on this one because you can't make them the dog in their house.
Man.
You cannot make them the dog in their house.
Then I guess we're going head to head again.
Oh my God. So you putting your money up on Texas on this one.
Well, it's a little interesting just because Texas is such a big favorite.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I see Michigan losing or winning the game, or Texas winning by less than 7? That's the big question.
Right.
So in a way, I'm siding with you because I think it's a close defensive game and Michigan keeps it within 7. So in that way, I'm with you, but I do think Texas pulls away in the end.
Yeah, I think since I'm rolling with Michigan and I put that out there, I think also another factor to this game would be, can they gain an edge on the scoreboard? Can they get the 10 to 14 point swings in the middle of the game? Sure. Now, you said that you have Michigan covering, but you think Texas will win. If they go up and they keep the swing open enough to, have room for error, I think that gives them a huge advantage. So, and
one more note on this game, I do think Texas has a slight edge at receiver.
Oh,
that's why.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Go ahead, finish, bro. Finish.
Well, no, that's really
that.
it. I mean, between Isaiah Bond, Silas Bolden, some of those guys, I like what they've got over there.
I mean, you're mentioning the receivers, but I'm going to go ahead and speak on their quarterback, Quinn Ewers, because this guy has been in the program for 3 years, and he's had the same offensive coordinator for all 3 years. And this is something that me and you spoke about on Tuesday. This is something that is rare in the age that we're in right now in college football. So I think that is a huge advantage for the Texas hopeful. And I will say that does set them up to be successful in whatever climate or whatever situation they are in. And you can see why they are number 3 right now, because by all means, they are a juggernaut of a program. And
They've got it rolling.
Yeah, I hate to say that they're up and coming.
Yeah.
But they're here, they're definitely here.
Yeah.
That, like I said, that's a rare opportunity or a rare sight to see when it comes to football, the football landscape in college football, man. And Michigan is
they're gonna play with their hair on fire. They're gonna be ready to roll.
They have no choice. They have no choice.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to match that. And they're going to have to match the fire that Texas is going to come out with. And I'm really looking forward. Looking forward to it.
No doubt.
But I can't believe that they're the underdogs, to be honest with you.
The national champs. It's
crazy.
Crazy.
you know that stadium can get really loud. Mm-hmm. You know that they have a crazy fan base.
Yep.
So just the atmosphere alone. And
they can impact the game.
I can be wrong, but I don't see a lot of people traveling from Texas to Michigan for this game. One, it's a week 2 game.
Yeah.
It's a top 10 matchup.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think week 2 is a little bit too soon for people to be traveling. Like the later you get in the season, the more people are willing to travel to different
and
games.
You're in conference play, so the games are more regional.
Right.
Makes more sense.
So
I get that.
I will say I think there's a lot of advantages for Michigan to have their way in this game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
I've already put it out there that I'm going with Michigan. This is my upset alert for the week, man. So I'm looking forward to it, Peyton.
And he is hot right now. You might want to tail him.
I'm not saying that I'm hot, but hey, if you've been watching the show, you know exactly what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. So I'm not gonna sit here and toot my own horn, man. I'm not here for that. I just know football, and when I have a gut feeling throughout my whole entire life, it's been pretty right.
Pretty positive.
Yeah. So that's that, man. I can't wait to see what happens this Saturday, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, man.
Moving right along, we got Colorado, Nebraska. That is also a big game. That's one of our top 2 big games for the weekend.
Yeah.
What are some of your thoughts on this game?
This feels like a shootout to me. I'm not going to lie. The total for this game sitting at 57.5.
Yeah.
I've already put my money down. I'm going over.
Yeah.
I think these 2 quarterbacks between Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Raiola are ready to put on a big-time display.
Wait. Did I hear you say you put your money down on this game?
For sure. But not on the spread, just the total.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So you going over on the total?
Over.
Ooh.
57.5.
Wow.
I see a good old-fashioned shootout.
Okay.
I see each team coming in and thinking pass first, kind of similar to what I talked about in the previous game with Michigan, Texas, but I think each of these teams can do that at a higher level, maybe on the same level as Texas to some degree.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a known commodity in Shedeur Sanders and then one of the rising stars in the game in Dylan Raiola. I know he's only started 1 game, but when you watch him, you just see something special. So
you know who you see when you watch him play.
Well, I don't want to go that far.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm not going to lie. He had a couple passes where he was throwing his sidearm. I mean, there's only one quarterback out there. And
different arm slots.
They are related.
Yep.
So
he wears his number. It's a thing.
Hey, and I'm gonna speak on that a little bit later. But we know that Colorado defeated Nebraska last year, 36-14. So the question is, did Colorado get better in the offseason? And we're gonna get that answer here shortly.
Yeah.
But the one thing about Colorado is they came out the gate 2-0 last year, and then they flattened out. So we need to see them actually take that step forward, and if they get the win this year, if they get the 2-0 this year, they cannot fall flat again.
Right.
So the way that they perform in this game will make, or kind of, I'm not gonna say it's gonna break their season, but it's gonna tell the team a lot and what they need to improve on, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
we know that the North Dakota State game was.
It was back and forth.
It was.
Yeah.
So I guess the question here would be, is Nebraska's offense and or defense, well, we can't say defense because it was a shootout of a game, but is Nebraska's offense better than North Dakota State?
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean,
the other thing
anyone would say that, but go ahead.
The other thing I'm looking for in this game is I think Nebraska is a little more talented along the lines of scrimmage, but I don't know how much that's going to matter in this game.
Right.
I think both teams are going to utilize that quick passing game.
Yep.
And I see Travis Hunter and a guy like Isaiah Nair for Nebraska being showcase receivers. I just have a feeling it's going to be a shootout, man, and an exciting one on a Saturday night.
Well, Nebraska had 223 yards on the ground last week. So if they are running the ball like that, you can say it's a shootout,
right?
But they're going to be milking the clock the whole entire game.
Yeah.
When you put almost 250 yards up on the board, like you're going to be.
I will say I think Colorado's a little better stopping the run this year than they were last year. So that'll be interesting to watch for sure.
And like you mentioned before, they got this hype train of a quarterback. We've seen last week we saw some things from out of him, but they were playing UTEP. And
you got to see it against a higher level of competition, no doubt.
We don't know if Colorado is that higher level yet. Like, I'm not gonna say that they're that higher level.
Yeah.
But they do have a dog of a player sitting on the outside on that defense. All right. So on the outside of the defense, on the opposite ball of the offense, I mean, by all means, he is.
You got to know where he lines up every snap.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, I did see I heard a couple people say that not Shador, but Shador as well. But Travis Hunter and Shador should be nominees for the Heisman this year. And that's a long way. And imagine the chip you carry on your shoulder trying to win the Heisman against the person that's on your own team. That would be a crazy talk about in the locker room, like something to talk about in the locker room. So
they're most likely gonna need to win this game if they want that narrative to begin. So it should be interesting.
No, for sure. And just to go back to Nebraska, this true freshman quarterback, we saw him throw for 238 yards last week, and he went for 2 touchdowns to match. So are the Buffs ready for prime time?
Yes.
So you say they're here.
They're here. I don't know if they're going to win this game, but they're here. They're ready to compete at this level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I could be fanboying, right? I can be a fanboy. But I do want to see Coach Prime be successful as a coach. I've watched him be successful in college. I've watched him be successful in the NFL. And I would love to see him do it in this next career path that he's chosen, which is to be a coach on the collegiate level.
Man, what's your gut feeling for this one? Right now, Nebraska, similar to the other game, a 7.5-point favorite. I want to know what you're thinking.
Yeah, so this game, I expect a explosive, intense atmosphere, and this is one that's going to answer a lot of questions. But like I said, I am a fan of Deion Sanders and anything that he does, so I'm gonna go ahead and ride with Colorado on this one. I'm definitely gonna
might as well double up and make it another upset pick, bro.
Listen, I'm gonna just go. I'm not gonna make this an upset pick, but I will say they have the maturity on their side. Now, I'm not saying that Dylan Raiola is immature, but what I am saying is he hasn't played on this stage yet, so he has a little bit more room for error than a Shador Sanders.
That's fair, man.
If Shador Sanders can live up to everything that he's expected to be, this should be a good game, and they should be able to come out with a win. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to be honest. I think I could see this game going into overtime.
Yeah.
I'm going to just call my shot right now, and then that'll propel the over of the point total anyway, just for fun. But maybe
you're
that's what I'm
your
hoping
pockets.
for.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm hoping for.
Exactly.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be fun on a Saturday night if this game went into overtime in shootout fashion?
Yes,
That's what I see.
I would love that. I love free football.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't like free football unless you're working? I've been in that situation where I've been working a game and it's been close. I'm like, please don't let this game go into overtime. But if I'm sitting at home, I'm having a cold one and I'm eating food and I'm relaxing, bring on the free football. I love it.
Let's go.
But for as far as for Nebraska, like I think this is time for Colorado to show what they have, but for Dylan Raiola, for him to, he has more time on his belt. And I think that he will turn out to be a great quarterback in college football. But I don't think that Saturday is the perfect time for him.
I hear you.
And that's just my gut. That's just my gut feeling.
Yeah.
So are you taking Nebraska?
I am.
Okay.
I'm going to take Nebraska to win.
Okay.
That's tough though. I'm scared.
Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, man.
My favorite play is the over. I know I've already said that 2 other times.
Yeah.
For this game, that's where my money would go. The over for the total.
But wait, what did you say about the over and the under? You said fans bet the over.
Well, for win totals, but
okay.
that can be true for point totals as well.
Okay.
So I'm with you. I'm being a little bit of a fan in this one.
Hey, man. I'm also being a fan with my pick by picking Colorado to win.
I will say this for Dion and Shador.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're ready to shut some people up because I think a lot of people are starting to come to the conclusion that it's only year 2. They don't have the bodies up front yet, and they're an underdog in this game. I think they're going to be playing with their hair on fire.
Well, I hope that they come out with their hair on fire.
Yeah.
And I hope that Shador has taken a step forward from last season, because it's not all on him, but we seen him take a lot of hits last year and a lot of unnecessary hits. So if he has improved on his release rate, I think that will help the team tremendously. So and not only that, but we seen in last week's game that they have some other ballers other than Travis Hunter as well.
Yeah.
So I think this would be the perfect time for them to put all of that stuff on display.
Sure.
They are the dog.
Yep.
So I don't think the odds makers are on the side of prime time for whatever reason it may be. But I like it, and Nebraska has some big boys, man. Like you can't,
for real.
like you can't just sit here and say that Nebraska don't have them big boys because when they break the huddle, they coming up. Billy Bob Joe just come.
Cornhuskers.
Come on, man. Come on, them boys out there lifting them big old hay bales, like man. So
I don't want any part of that.
Yeah, this is gonna be a juggernaut of a game, and I can't wait to watch it, man. And I get to watch it with my old trusty guy right here, man,
Yes,
and I'm looking forward to it, bro. We're going to have a good time.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
man.
we're going to have a good time this weekend. We got nothing but football.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to take a nap at some point.
I don't know if I'm going to let you do that.
Oh.
You can't miss my nerdy South Carolina Kentucky game that I'm looking forward to.
Oh, my God, bro. Listen, I'm going to have to take a nap. If anything, I'm going to have my shades on, and I'm going to just be like this.
Just convince me you're watching. I might let that slide. I'll keep you updated on the game.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
So moving right along, let's talk some NFL, bro.
Yeah,
why
not?
So do you want to? How do you want to do this? Do you want to break it down with and go from conference divisions inside the conference, or?
Yeah, I was thinking division winners and then the wild card teams.
Okay.
For each conference, and then at the end we pick the Super Bowl winner.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Well, I'll start here. Everybody's talking Caleb Williams, Aaron Rodgers, Chiefs, Lions, Tigers, Bears. Oh my, I don't know, whatever, right? But I'm gonna stay away from that, right? But as far as we know, everybody is predicting the Chiefs to get in. So let's leave them off the board.
Yeah.
As far as the AFC North goes, a safe bet for me would be the Bengals and the Ravens.
Yep.
But I do like the Browns too.
Yeah, you can't sleep on them.
I do like the Browns as well.
They have one of those guys up front that can just change a game.
Yeah. So with that being said, and knowing how deep that division is,
yeah, they might get 3 teams in.
It's not impossible.
Yeah,
it's not impossible. But I also have. I mean, I like, the
AFC's loaded.
The AFC is loaded, and I'm gonna just leave that to that. AFC North. Do you have your picks for the AFC North?
Let me see here. I got the Ravens winning the division.
Okay.
And I got the Bengals as a wild card.
Okay,
team.
so we kind of match in that department.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. As far as AFC East goes, who do you have?
I've got the Bills winning the division and the Dolphins making it as the wild card team.
Did you do that for me?
No.
Did you do that for me?
I did it for Mike McDaniel because I think he's really good.
I
think he's really good, man.
I'm glad you mentioned the Bills because I don't have them making it to the playoffs.
Wow.
Yes.
For real?
I don't. I don't have them making it to the playoffs.
Okay.
The Bills lost a lot of pieces.
They did.
In their organization.
They did.
And it will be hard for me to sit here and say that they're going to carry first-year players on their team to the playoffs. Right? So I will say this. I did fan out. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right.
I did fan out.
There's room for that.
I do have the Dolphins winning the division.
Okay.
And I have the Jets making it in.
I'm shocked.
As a wild card.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little shocked. After all this Aaron Rodgers talk, and he's putting Aaron in the playoffs?
Yes. I do see them losing in the first round. But
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is tricky. He's very tricky in the playoffs, man. You can't sleep on Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
True, man.
But yeah, the AFC is way too powerful.
Yeah. Speaking of the Dolphins and the Jets, I think they play in the last week of the regular season, and I've already hit on this before. I think they ultimately end up playing that game to see who goes to the playoffs between those two teams. That's my prediction. I think the Bills have the division wrapped up. They play in New York Week 18 with the same record. Winner gets in, and the Dolphins win. That's my guess.
Bills won't be close. I'm telling you right now, Bills will not be close. As far as the AFC South goes,
sure,
I got the Jags and the Texans making it in.
Who wins the division between those?
The Texans.
Yeah, I have the same thing.
We're
lining up here. I mean, the only difference is you've got the Jets, I've got the Bills.
Yeah.
That's pretty, because I have the Chiefs too as the only team from that division making it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think at this point you can, even though he's only 1 year in with C.J. Stroud, from the eye test standpoint, you know that he's going to perform at a high level again.
Not only that, they didn't lose much and they improved in the offseason. So that's my thing. Like, when you say you got the Bills getting in, how? Why? Now, can they prove it? Can they prove me wrong? Of course they can. But my thing is, why would I pick them right now? Like, if we get to week 7, week 8, and the Bills are looking good, then I'm gonna be like, okay. But if they're looking bad, I'm gonna be like, I could have predicted that. Like,
they did lose both of their starting safeties.
Yeah,
which I think is key for Sean McDermott.
Right, and then they have a whole bunch of rookies on their on the offensive side of the ball, and then they just lost one of their main targets with Diggs. They got Shakir, but
Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman.
Yeah, but Keon Coleman is a rookie. And the off the field antics of Keon Coleman, we haven't heard much from him yet. We know that he's a confident player, but how would that transition into the NFL? It's a new look. You got new defenses, so on and so forth. So I'm a wait and see type of guy when it comes to Coleman.
Yeah.
But and then also which Josh Allen are we gonna get?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Are we gonna get mentally stable Josh Allen, or are we gonna get backfield, throw it down the field, and hope he run under it and get it, Josh Allen?
Ooh, I see.
So like that is too many questions on.
He can be a bit of a gunslinger.
He can be.
Yeah.
You know, and not like a accurate gunslinger, like just a gunslinger, like straight off the hip, like pow. Okay, I missed. Damn. Now I gotta put another bullet in here. Like so you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So like
Okay.
the Bills, I'm not trying to sell you on my pick. I'm just
I
saying.
hear you.
I'm just saying.
I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
Let's
all
go
right.
to the NFC. Who you got? Who you got?
Well, I did want to say it before
Okay.
I moved on to the NFC. I did want to wrap it up about the AFC. And,
Okay.
I think as far as the AFC goes, I'm gonna just let it be known right here. Like, I have the AFC winning the Super Bowl.
So do I.
And it's gonna be the grittiest team. Here's the shocker to you, right?
All right.
It's gonna be the grittiest team that's gonna hoist the trophy at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be the team with the prettiest record. It's not gonna be the team. It's gonna be the team that figures out how to win games and who's been through adversity throughout the season, and through the past.
Yeah.
Whoever that is, I'm not gonna put a name on it just yet. But
Okay.
that's what I will say.
That's your criteria
Yeah,
for the winner.
for sure.
I got you.
It's gonna be a team who has been through the ringer for sure.
Man. Okay.
Yeah. So we can move on. We can move on. Do you want to put speculations on who you have for the AFC? Or do you want to
I would
just come out and say?
Well, what's interesting is for my 4 division winners between the Bills, Ravens, Texans, and Chiefs, those were the 4 teams that were in the divisional round of the playoffs last year. Those were the last 4 teams standing. So not much change there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm really
well-
trusting what I saw last year.
Well,
in that sense.
you can replace the Bills with the Dolphins, and then we're good.
All right.
I like everything else.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And then, I mean, I'm looking at these wild card teams between the Dolphins, Bengals, and Jaguars. All those teams are capable of pulling an upset in the first round. So
I will say, I'm gonna leave my fans out of this. I'm gonna leave them.
All right.
But you got the Bengals and the Jaguars.
sure.
Bengals, you can't count them out, especially if they have a healthy Joe Burrow.
Right.
Can't count them out at all. Jags, for me, they have a powerful offense. But I still think they have a long way to go, especially when you compare them to every other team that's in the AFC. That's just my pick. That's just me. I can be wrong.
I think they're hungry to get back to the playoffs. If we forget that Trevor Lawrence made the playoffs in his second year. They missed it last year. They want to get back into that thing.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I look at players in their eyes a lot, right? Like I know it's hard to look through the face mask, but I look at players in their eyes a lot. And when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, he doesn't give me, how would I say this? He doesn't give me cerebral quarterback, right? Does he have talent? Yeah, sure. But if you look at Trevor Lawrence's eyes and you look at Patrick Mahomes' eyes, or let's leave Patrick Mahomes out of here. I'm not talking about them. Joe Burrow, if you look at Joe Burrow's eyes and his swagger and everything like that, there's nothing telling Joe Burrow that he can't get it done. I think with Trevor Lawrence, he has some confidence that he needs to gain.
Wait, should I just skip to my rant real quick?
Oh.
My rant of the day, because
Oh.
you're hitting on it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
We'll wait for it.
Okay.
Let's finish with the predictions,
Please, yes.
and then I'll get back to the Jags.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal your thunder, man. Let's move right along. NFC.
Yeah.
All right, San Fran is in.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and say that's my safe bet. San
Yep.
Fran is in.
I have them winning their division.
Yep.
No doubt.
Okay.
Who else you got?
That's it.
Okay.
I move on to the NFC East after that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I do have another team from that division making it in the Rams.
Okay.
I like what the Rams got going on.
You know, I looked at the Rams and I was like, man, is this a team that I really want to put in there? But I don't know. I saw stronger teams in inside the NFC. So
Okay, let's move on. What's the next division?
all right, so the NFC East. I have Philly and the Commanders making it in.
So do I. Did
Yeah.
we copy each other?
So that's the reason why I didn't pick the Rams, because I see the Commanders getting in there.
Fair.
You know, that's gonna be a sneaky good team this year.
For sure.
And
you know, there's something to be said for the Commanders. I mean, everybody in that building is new. It's a fresh feeling.
Yeah.
New ownership, new coach, new quarterback. I mean,
I also think that they're long overdue.
yeah.
The Rams had their day. you know, and Sean McVay, while he's a
guru.
Yeah, I guess that's the right way to put it. While he is a guru, I think that for some strange reason, I get a feeling that they're comfortable over there.
Wow.
Yeah, like you look at, and this goes back to my AFC pick. Like, I expect to see gritty and hungry teams in the playoffs this year. Like, not teams that are settled in what they have accomplished in the past 5-6 years. Like, I think that the Commanders will kind of etch out what the Rams would bring to the table when it comes to making it into the playoffs. So that's just me. That's just me.
I've got the same two teams for the NFC East. So let's go to the North.
Okay, North. I think it's pretty easy and who we expect to come out the North.
Fair. Packers, Lions?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
100%.
Which one winning the division?
I'm gonna take the Lions. I'm
gonna go with the Packers winning the division.
That's not a bad pick at all.
Yeah.
That I can't disagree with you. I think it's a toss up there.
Fair.
But the Lions won a lot of games last year.
They did. And they want to keep it rolling.
Yeah, and I don't see that train slowing down, especially under head coach Dan Campbell. So I don't think Dan Campbell is one of those coaches that lets his team lose sight of what's ahead. He's a blue collar coach, and
he noted that in his recent press conference. He said, what we did last year doesn't really matter. We've got to restart and do it all over again. We're ready to put our hard hat on and go to work. So.
Yeah, and that's the type of coach that I expect him to be. Like, I 100%. I wish he was still in South Florida, but you know, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But to see him thriving in Detroit, I think that's the perfect place for him to be. It's a blue-collar state. It's a blue-collar city.
No doubt.
And he kind of fits the bill, like tough, gritty, on edge, fiery, hothead.
Yeah.
Loses temper when his team isn't doing what they need to do. So,
man, you got a lot of phrases and adjectives there. You like this guy.
I love Dan Campbell, especially the way that he has built up the Detroit organization. Like, they were trash
for sure.
But you know, this is the hottest thing since they had Barry Sanders. You know what I mean? Like, in between those years, they were nothing. Like, nobody was really worried about the Lions. So I think they are
on track.
On track for sure.
All right, for the last division, who you got? This is an interesting one. You already know who I have for this division.
I don't know, so tell me.
Oh, the Saints. Come on now.
So the Saints are okay. So the Saints is the last team you have in.
And I have a second rant about the Saints, so I'm going to save that for later as well. But yes,
all right.
I have one team from that division making it in the Saints.
All right, so here, I have the Bucks.
Yeah.
And
Baker,
the Falcons.
And the Falcons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, leaving my Saints out.
The Saints.
They're kind of in the doghouse of the NFL right now.
I feel like it's going to be a struggle year for the Saints, man. It was pretty bad last year.
That's how everybody's feeling, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They got a long way to go, and they have a lot of talent. That's the one thing that kills me about the Saints, man. They have so much talent on their team.
Yeah. But
they can't seem to put it together. Like, I don't understand what's going on in that organization, but they can't seem to put it together. Like, every year after year. I didn't do it this year, but year after year, I draft Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Because he is a home run hitter, but last year he let me down, so I'm not picking him this year. Well, I didn't pick him this year.
You know what? Right now, since we're dogging on the Saints a little bit, I'll quickly go into my Saints rant.
Go ahead,
if you're okay with that.
Go ahead, bro.
So Dennis Allen's career record as a coach is 24-46, something like that. Not great. Not looking great. I will say this. If we look back in history, there have been a few examples, not a ton, but a few examples of coaches getting off to a rough start and then hitting their stride at some point.
Right.
Pete Carroll, first 6 years in the league, losing record.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He needs his, what's the word for it? He needs his main man. He needs his kingpin.
Okay.
In a sense,
Okay.
do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I think that guy can be offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak this year for the New Orleans Saints. Was previously the pass game coordinator for the 49ers this past year.
Okay.
And what I like about this fit for the Saints is that the personnel is pretty similar when it comes to the running backs and the fullbacks and the tight ends and the way they like to use formations.
Right.
We know Alvin Kamara can be a beast catching the ball out of the backfield. We know Christian McCaffrey can do the same thing. We know Kyle Juszczyk can be a versatile piece, lining up at fullback, lining up at tight end, lining up out wide. What can Taysom Hill do?
Everything.
Right.
Whatever you want him to do.
When I
can
look
cut
at
the grass if you really want him to. I mean, whatever.
When I look at the Saints offensive line, it's an offensive line that wants to get downhill and run the ball, similar to the 49ers last year, a little bit better at run blocking than pass blocking.
Yep.
So I see a lot of similarities there. Obviously, the 49ers talent level is amongst the best in the league. But when I look at the Saints offensive personnel, I can see him fitting those pieces to the puzzle in. And the last part I'll put in there, Derek Carr and Brock Purdy, right?
Okay.
They don't blow you away as physical talents.
Okay.
But they can be good distributors of the football.
Okay.
And that's what they're going to be asked to do in those types of offenses. That's my selling point on the Saints. And I see Clint Kubiak, in a way, saving Dennis Allen's job this year. Yeah. So watch out for them. Who dat?
I love that. I love that for you, man.
Yeah.
I wish I had a rebuttal to that, but you put it together so nice. I don't want to step on your toes.
You might have to put the Saints in after hearing all that.
Nah.
You're not doing it.
Not at all. Not at all. What I will say is maybe from your speech, I give them 1 or 2 wins
Okay.
more than the total that I had them at.
Okay, I'll take it.
But what I will say is, man, like, the Saints, like, I really want them to be good. Like, I'm a past Saints fan, and I've always liked them. You know, Drew Brees was that guy. Like, I've always been like a low-key fan of the Saints. Honestly, I'm a fan of the NFL. So there's not really a team in the NFL that I wouldn't pull for. I just love watching competitive sports and competitive football.
No doubt.
So yeah, man, I really do wish that the Saints were, well, at least last year, I wish that they did a lot better than what they produced last year.
Yeah.
But with that being said, man, I gotta ride with the Bucks and the Falcons, man. And
Tough.
wow,
Yeah.
I talk so much trash about this guy, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I think Kirk Cousins went into this offseason and he had all that time to cry through therapy. And I'm not saying that he cried in therapy, but I know that I went through knee surgery. He went through a Achilles tear, so he had to go through all of that thing. All I'm saying is I relate with Kirk Cousins when it comes to bouncing back from an injury. So with that being said, we know that he's on the back half of his career. This can be a big year for the Falcons offense.
Great offensive line, by the way.
One of the best in the league.
Yep.
So with that being said, I think that Kirk Cousins has that chip on his shoulder where he wants to go out on his high horse and he'll do everything in order to prove that. So I do have a lot of expectations. I know me and you went back and forth on the Penix, if Penix should start or, but if they're going to give the nod to Kirk Cousins, I think he's going to take advantage.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I think the Falcons will be a scary team to look out for this year. So,
Yeah.
man.
Okay, so I know we just did a Super Bowl pick, but just off the cuff,
Yeah.
why not just pick the championship game as well? So just 2 teams from each conference, and then obviously the winner, and then the Super Bowl. We'll make it real quick.
Oof. Man. Okay. So there will be for the NFC.
All right.
There's going to be 2 tiers of teams, right?
Okay.
They're going to have contenders and those who don't really matter.
Even the ones that make the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right.
The ones who don't really matter.
Yeah.
And with that being said, the 3 contenders are going to be the Niners, the Lions, and Philly. All right. With that being said, in the NFC Championship game, I have the Niners and the Lions.
Oh, rematch of last year.
Yes.
Nice.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I'll go ahead and pick my winner here.
All right.
I'm going to go with the Lions.
I had a feeling you were going to go with them. They need revenge.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. While I like the Niners, don't get me wrong, but I don't think Detroit loses the same way they lost last year.
Yeah. After being up 24-7.
Yeah, no, won't happen. Won't happen at all. At all.
Man.
They had those guys in a chokehold, and for some strange reason, they decided to let it go.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Lions. I have high expectations for the Lions this year.
Yeah. Okay, I'll pick my NFC conference champion.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Okay.
And the Lions.
That was close. I mean, I was close.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a divisional
matchup
in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, which adds for even more intrigue. It'll be their 3rd time playing that season.
Yep.
It would be crazy.
That would be crazy, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Okay.
And I'm going with the Packers.
Okay.
I think Jordan Love's movement ability is the X factor in that game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you going? Wow.
Yeah.
I like the Packers. I don't think they're ready yet.
Okay.
I think they got one more year. I think not this year. I think this year they put the league on notice. Next year, they make their move.
All right.
That's really where I'm at with it.
Sure.
So as far as the AFC goes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and put the Chiefs in there. Like, I'm gonna put the Chiefs.
What
in
has
there.
it been? Let me think. 6 straight AFC championship games they've played in? Yeah.
I'm gonna put the Chiefs in there, and then I'm gonna do like this. All right.
Oh, shoot.
I'm gonna go ahead and take the Dolphins, bro.
Oh, to beat the Chiefs.
Yes, in a rematch game.
I love it.
In the conference championship.
I think they're going to need that game to be at home, and I think they might get it.
They won't get it.
Oh,
it'll be in Kansas City. It'll be in Kansas City for sure.
Okay.
For sure. I don't see the Dolphins being the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Like you said, it's going to be a tough, gritty team that's been through adversity. Wow. All right. Dolphins, Lions?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, I could be a fan. I can be a fan.
Nothing wrong with that.
I can definitely be a fan. But I think that with all those guys getting re-signed this year, and Tua Tagovailoa came out and said it already. This is year 3 inside the Mike McDaniel's offense. They have developed a rapport. They have developed a sense for each other, a feel for each other, and how everybody on that offense wants to play, right? They have one of the fastest offenses in the league.
If not the fastest.
And not only just the offense, not talking about the offense, but the defense. They have players on the outside, players over the top, and they got a defensive line that I would call one of the most athletic defensive line in the NFL. You know, you got Jalen Phillips coming back. You got the new pick, Chop Robinson.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna break down this whole team, but I will say,
Sure.
the Dolphins organization put themselves in a situation where they have no excuse.
Man, that would be a huge breakthrough for that franchise.
Yep.
Because I believe they have the longest drought for not winning a playoff game. They've been in the playoffs. They just haven't won a game.
20 plus years.
Yes.
20
So
plus years.
That'd be a big breakthrough for them.
Man, the last time they won a playoff game, never mind, I'm not gonna tell my age. But but yes, bro, like,
Yeah.
so my thing is, for the Dolphins, and me and you, we talked about win or bust, right?
Yeah.
for the Dolphins, if they don't do it this year, that organization is probably going to blow up.
Man.
That organization is probably, and they've done it in the past. They've done it they had Ronnie Brown, Ricky Williams on the same team, couldn't get it done. Yeah. Like, honestly, we had Chad Pennington as a quarterback, but that's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying is, we've had opportunities. They couldn't get it done with Dan Marino. They went, but they couldn't get it done with Dan Marino.
You know what's crazy? I have sat down during the offseason 2 separate times and gone back and watched full Miami Dolphin replays just to see Dan Marino play.
Yes.
Because I missed it. I wasn't alive for most of it. And
he's
incredible
amazing?
to watch.
Oh, okay. That's why I was like.
I think he and Aaron Rodgers are in a class of their own when it comes to throwing the football, just point blank, period.
Yeah.
Right? Like the fluid release, the velocity they can put on the ball, the arm strength in general. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that I've seen sling the ball, man. Like,
but those two. Now, you have to put Mahomes in there too, right?
Right.
So I should say
as far
those
as
three.
fluidity goes, like, I mean, Mahomes is a very accurate quarterback, and he gets the job done. He finds the open receiver, and so on and so forth. But there are some quarterbacks out there that I've seen do some crazy things with the football.
Yeah.
First one that pops to mind is Warren Moon. Right? I've seen Warren Moon do some crazy things, and in his older age, like, you know, like I've seen Warren Moon play. Oh my gosh!
You know who that made me think of?
Who?
Brett Favre.
Oh, Brett Favre. Brett Favre was great, bro. Like, Brett Favre was an amazing talent when it came to the NFL, bro.
Yeah.
And the way that he not only led his teams, but the way he
competed.
So this goes back to what I was talking about with Trevor Lawrence, right? If you look at the eyes of Brett Favre, you don't see that in Trevor Lawrence. And I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence is not a great quarterback, but what I'm saying is, for me, when I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence, I don't see I'm hungry. I see I'm here. You know, like I see like I'm an NFL quarterback, you know, but the Jacksonville Jaguars organization has a lot of faith in this guy based off of his ability and what his past, right? So, yes.
Should I get into my second rant?
Go ahead, bro. Actually, I'm very intrigued, and I was trying to lead you up to that, but since you're ready for it,
I guess I'm ready right now. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. Let the people hear what you got to say. I'm gonna pour me another cup, bro.
Might as well.
Go ahead, bro. I'm gonna sit back and relax and watch and listen to you.
So I think this is the year that Trevor Lawrence cements himself as a top 6 to 7 quarterback in the NFL. And to be honest with you, I don't really understand the criticism up to this point about his career. I mean, I can go back to the last 15 years and look at the NFL draft and take 3 different number 1 overall picks, right? And I'm just going to use Matthew Stafford from 2009, Cam Newton from 2011, Baker Mayfield from 2018. Those guys were not winning football games in their first 2 to 3 years in the league. Okay, so...
And we talked about Stafford, but go ahead.
Yeah, Stafford's a great example, particularly because when he got to the Rams, he won it all in 1 year, in his first year, right? So all of those guys are talented in their own right, but if you're getting drafted number 1 overall, you're probably going to a franchise that hasn't done much. In the 3 years before Trevor Lawrence got to the Jags, they had a winning percentage of 25%. So... Now, we can flip the coin on the other side and say, well, at some point you have to win. You start doing winning. Okay, we can do that too.
Yeah.
Because in the last 2 years, the Jags have had a winning record and they've won a playoff game in that time.
Yeah.
So I need to know which side of the argument everyone's on because we can have it both ways. Justin Herbert doesn't have a playoff win yet.
Yeah.
And all I'm hearing is that, we need to see the playoff wins. Well, Matthew Stafford didn't have a playoff win for 12 years in Detroit. As soon as he went to a functional organization, he went on a Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
So that's my main point, and I think he's got the coach to lead him, and I think he has the God-given ability as well. I've seen people talk about his talent level. Look, he's not Patrick Mahomes, right?
Right. We can say
Personally, I think he's in that next tier in terms of physical traits and talent as that goes.
He got to show and prove. He got to show up this year.
No doubt. He does. And I think he will. I think he cements himself as a top 6 to 7 quarterback in the league.
So let me ask you a question. Question, monsieur. If Trevor Lawrence goes to another organization, does he win a Super Bowl?
Oh, man. I didn't think about that. I don't think he ever will. I think he's a Jag for life personally.
Oh,
now, to answer your question, if he did, I'll go back to Matthew Stafford. It depends on where he goes.
Yeah.
If you gave me a team, then I'd be able to answer that. But it's hard to just pick a random team. But
if Trevor Lawrence goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, do they win a championship?
Over the span of 10 to 15 years, probably.
Well, didn't Matt Stafford do it in his first year as the quarterback in LA?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm saying first year.
Okay.
First year.
I see.
And I only mentioned
it's a tall task.
I only mentioned Pittsburgh because they are kind of in the need of a quarterback right now. So that's the only reason why I mentioned Pittsburgh. But there's so many other teams out there that can use a quarterback, right? So
yeah.
That's for immediate need for a quarterback. That's why I chose Pittsburgh. Let me see. Hold on.
Well, I'll stop you right there just because he just signed the extension with the Jags. So
you can get traded.
Oh,
you can get traded.
He would need
because you signed doesn't mean anything.
If he's getting traded, then we can throw away this rant.
Yeah. No. I think.
Yeah.
I like Trevor Lawrence. I think that he has a lot to prove.
Sure.
Will he prove that? I hope so.
Yeah.
I really do hope so. Because like I just said earlier in this show, I love competitive sports. I love competitive football. And to get players reaching the potential that everybody has them expected at means a lot to me. And that's what keeps me watching on a week-to-week basis.
For sure.
So you talked about Cam Newton. Every week you turn on the TV, Cam Newton was never letting you down.
Showstopper.
Never letting you down.
Yeah.
You talked about Matthew Stafford.
Sure.
Stafford never let you down. Now, is his game play a little boring? It can be, but he's gonna do what he needs to do in order to get the W. You know what I mean? So Tom Brady. Tom Brady. Every time you turn the TV on, Tom Brady winning something.
Yeah.
It don't matter. It could be man of the year.
He'll probably win an Emmy soon.
Come on, that's what I'm saying. Like it'd be man of the year. It would be MVP. It would be whatever the case may be. Super Bowl champion. So that's what I live for. And
yeah. Okay, so to finish up real quick, because I still have to make my AFC prediction.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs and the Bills in the AFC Championship game.
What he really means is.
Okay.
The Chiefs and the Dolphins, but I'll let you say the Bills. Go ahead.
And I have the Bills beating the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. Oh, I made him choke on his drink for a second.
Wow.
I think Josh Allen finally gets over the hump. And by the way, for the most part, he has performed at a pretty high level in most of those Chiefs-Bills playoff games. It's just that he's going up against the best quarterback-coach combo in NFL history.
If the Chiefs play the Bills in the conference championship game, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
If my Miami Dolphins don't make it to the conference championship game, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. If the Dolphins make it to the championship game, they beat the Chiefs, they're going to the Super Bowl. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm not one of those fans. Listen to me. Listen, people. I'm not one of those people that say, we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not that guy. I did it with the Miami Hurricanes. Like, listen, as a Miami Hurricanes fan, I'm not saying that we're going to win the championship, the conference or national championship. They have to come out and prove it. But I've watched this team struggle, especially last year. I've watched the Dolphins struggle in those cold games. And this year, Tyreek Hill even came out and said it. We got to play our best football in December. We cannot afford for our best football to be played in September. If that's happening, we won't never be anything. So this is why I'm sold.
All right.
This is exactly why I'm sold.
Yeah.
So
I hear
I
you.
appreciate you for
Well, I guess we're going head to head. We already know who each of us is picking.
Yeah.
If it's either the Dolphins Chiefs or the Chiefs Bills, we know who.
Hey, Mr. Producer, can you go ahead and cut those clips right there just so we can save them and we can play them back in December and January?
They're going to come in handy because
Yeah.
I think all of those teams are going to be in the playoffs.
I do.
Now, I know you don't think the Bills are, but we'll see.
We disagree on like one team.
Yeah.
On both sides of the conference of the NFL. So
Okay, so to wrap it up, all we have to do is make our Super Bowl predictions now. We each have the teams that are going to be in the Super Bowl. You've
Yeah.
got Dolphins, Lions. I've got Bills, Packers.
Yeah.
What say you?
man. All right. I hate to go against the home team here. So I won't.
Oh, okay.
The Super Bowl winner, and I said this in earlier in the show. The Super Bowl winner will be the AFC champion, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Miami Dolphins to win the Super Bowl this year. Nobody's gonna see it coming, but I'm giving it to you right here first. Okay, nobody's gonna see it coming, but just like nobody saw FSU losing to Georgia Tech, just like nobody saw Boston College beating Florida State, I'm giving it to you right here. Whatever y'all want to think, Miami Dolphins will be the best team in the NFL at the end of the season next year. Parade coming in Miami, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there with this glass in my hand, holding this helmet.
We're just having fun tonight, huh?
In this bottle right here,
Yeah.
I'll be in Miami.
Man, okay. All right.
Let's go, Peyton.
Yeah, so to cap off the show, I'm going to go with the Bills to beat the Packers in the Super Bowl. So a team that you have missing the playoffs, I have winning the whole thing. So that's pretty interesting right there. Do you know who the Bills' offensive coordinator is? And I know it's kind of nerdy. I talk about coordinators a lot, but it is what it is.
It's very nerdy, but tell me.
They matter.
Tell me.
It's Joe Brady. Do you know
I did know that, actually.
Joe Brady coached the LSU Tigers in 2019. He was the offensive passing game coordinator.
That's why. He's a homer.
He did a pretty good job with Joe Burrow.
That's why he got the Bills.
And I'll say this about the Bills too, man. I know they lost a lot of defensive backs.
I'm a homer too, by the way. It's okay. It's okay.
I love how they traded for Rasul Douglas, who actually came from the Packers. So that's going to be an interesting little matchup in that game, playing his old team. A young defensive back from Florida named Kyer Elam. I think he has a good year. I think they have some sneaky good defensive backs that are going to help them out. And then you already know about Von Miller and Ed Oliver up front.
Right, that goes
And
without
then
saying.
Josh Allen's one of the best playmakers in the game. I think time runs out on the Bills and they just get over the hump eventually. That's what I see, because they've been that team that's in the playoffs. They can't get over the hump. Finally, they do. That's what I see with them.
Well, we'll find out. Time will tell. It's week 1 of the NFL season right here, right now.
Yes, sir.
So I'm looking forward to it, man. With that being said, Peyton, if you guys are not already following us on social media, please make sure you follow us at The Sportaholics, man. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button, man. Catch us on YouTube every Tuesday and Friday at 7:30. For Peyton and myself, Russ, I'm the host. He's the expert. So he should know what he's talking about.
Well, I was about to say, they need to tail your picks. 'Cause you're hot right now, and I've already said that. But.
Hey, man, it is what it is. But thank you guys for tuning in. We are the Sportaholics. Peyton, you want to tell them anything before we get up out of here, man? Do you have any final thoughts, bro?
I'll just sound like a broken record again, but happy to be here. We had a great show.
Yeah, man.
And stay tuned in. We got a lot more content coming.
Yeah, we really do, man. With that being said, man, y'all catch us next week, same time, same place, and we out.